Alrighty, so I don't have a lot of time this morning. I have about 20 minutes. My girlfriend just went to work this morning. It's Sunday morning. How many times can I say morning? I don't know, but morning. Good morning if you're listening to this in the morning. Anyway, she'll be back in 20 minutes. I gotta rock and roll here. So I'm gonna talk all the way till the alarm goes off because I gotta get in there and put the food on the skillet and heat it up. I'm gonna just start off with reading some of the stuff that came up when I was driven to do some writing. So I'm usually reading and then sometimes it just switches right over into writing things down. And where it came from was a place of what was going on inside of my mind when I was trying to read this morning, because I found I couldn't really land on the page that well, and my mind was traveling in work mode, it was traveling in idea mode, it was traveling into making money mode and all this, craziness. And I'm not saying that's bad, it's just in the morning my focus and intention is on reading things that are spiritually based, meaning literature that supplies spiritual principles that I can apply starting in the morning and then bring into my world as I interact with the planet and people. So my mind was traveling, and what I saw it talking to me about was very interesting. Because I'm in this transition in my life where I'm starting my life over, my finances are all upside down, business life upside down, everything came crashing down last year. Of course, it is a gift and a curse, so it feels sometimes like a death, which isn't all that bad, but it also feels like one of the greatest gifts ever. And I would just add to that, I know right now is a pretty wild time because the coronavirus thing is out, and that's not what this video is about, but so my heart goes out to anybody who has suffered any losses behind that or any complications concerning their health behind the virus. However, I'm glad I don't own a business right now, so it's interesting how things turn out, because that is definitely a whole nother level of stress when the world turns into panic and fear and become hysterical. So that's kind of what I see going on around me. I don't watch a bunch of news, but from what I've seen, it's pretty far out, to say the least. So I'm glad I don't own a brick and mortar business at this moment, and my heart goes out to anybody as well that does own a business in times like these, because it can probably be pretty intense right now, depending on how you perceive it or take it or how you work with it. But I've seen a lot of interesting things take place in regards to some brick and mortar businesses concerning different people that I know right now that own some businesses. So anyway, something inside of me tells me that I can't do it, that if I start, I won't do it, I won't follow through, that nothing will become of it, and that it will take too long, and that I'll just be wasting my time. So those are the thoughts that were popping up, and I was like, that's interesting. And then I was like, well, why are these thoughts popping up in my mind today? Because I'm generally pretty positive and optimistic and hopeful, but it's interesting how these thoughts are kind of in the background, and if I don't address them, if I don't see them and look at why they're going on, they're just going to stay there. So if I take the awareness of, oh wow, I'm having these thoughts. One is, I'm not my thoughts. If I was my thoughts, I wouldn't be able to be separate from them and see them. So there's something there, and I've been able to practice long enough in regards to awareness that there was a space in which I saw these thoughts coming in. So my thing is always like, who's that is seeing these thoughts? I'm not going to get too deep into that right now, but the thoughts I was having, once again, were something inside of me tells me that I can't do it. Something inside of me tells me that I won't do it. Something, which is doubt. Something inside of me tells me nothing will become of it. Something inside of me will take too long. And something inside of me tells me that it's going to be a waste of my time. So what's the point? That's not how I want to live today. Those are not really the thoughts that I want to have in my mind. But because I'm looking into a bunch of different ways in which I can move forward into the future, these thoughts of self-doubt are coming up. And these are the things, if I don't see them, will actually become roadblocks to building the kind of future that I would like, or having the kind of days that I want to have in terms of peace of mind, serenity, positivity, limitlessness, infinite potential, XYZ, the list goes on there. And then once I identified those thoughts, something started to come up in terms of writing. So I haven't edited this piece of writing, and I'm not trying to act as if I'm the world's greatest writer or anything, because I was never really trained how to write, because I never really showed up to school and never really cared about learning how to write or read. And that became a real big problem later on in life, and it still is something that I'm dealing with. But I do like to express what comes to my mind, so I write anyway, irregardless of spelling, irregardless of grammar or sentence structure or paragraphs. Like, that whole thing is a mystery to me. And actually, I'll tell you a quick story. I got to keep moving through this video because we're already at almost the halfway point. I have 20 minutes in this video. We're almost at 10 minutes. But anyway, I took my first college class a few months back. I wish I would have been filming these documentation videos back then, but I took a semester of English 101. Don't even have a high school diploma, but they let me in the college anyway, which is a local college here in Los Angeles. So I took a semester of English 101, and it was really fun. And I got my ass kicked, that's for sure. I got my ass handed to me. I've never written like that in my life. I've never written that many essays. I've never even written an essay, I don't believe, in 38 years of being on this planet and pretending to go to school until I was a junior and dropped out. But anyway, I learned that I love writing. I love tapping into the ability to express oneself. But as far as all the mechanics and stuff, it is hardcore, and like organizing all the research and combing through the literature and turning it into a form of writing called the essay. Wow. God bless. Nothing but a ton of respect for any authors or writers out there. That is freaking hard as hell. If I guess you don't have a foundation in knowing how to do that. So anyway, I'm still wanting to do that in the future. I did get an A, I believe, in the class. I haven't checked, but based on the last numbers that she gave me, percentage-wise or whatever, I was, we were 75% through on the last quarter of the semester, and I did have an A, and so I highly doubt that my final sucked, because I could just tell in her reaction to me when I turned in my essay, and she was able to, kind of give me, I guess, a nod of like, yeah, you fucking nailed it, or some shit like that. I don't know. She's a cool teacher, professor, and I would say outside of that, I don't think my final project totally sucked. I could be wrong, but I did the best I could, and if it was anything close to the other essays that I turned in, I should have at least a B, but I'm sure, not patting myself on the back, but I worked my ass off. It should have been an A as well. So I'll eventually get my tail back over there to school and see what it did turn out to be. But anyway, I'm just saying, writing is not my thing necessarily. I do love it. I'm attracted to it. I just find like making videos and talking is my thing. I enjoy that so much more. So anyway, the writing that that came out of my mind was, my mind focused on the results instead of on the process leads me to skepticism rather than optimism. I became consumed by thoughts of what I will get, not thoughts about how I can give. Or I become consumed by thoughts of what I will get, not thoughts about how I can give. And that's in regards to being focused on results rather than process. So this is kind of like a compare and contrast writing, I guess you could say. Because, I learned about comparing and contrasting essays. The switch for me is to learn how to enjoy the process of creating instead of getting lost in the fear of not getting what I want. My aim is to see how I can help someone become more than they currently are, to help them how I've been helped, to give them what I have found and what I have built, to help that someone out of the dark pit of despair, desperation, and hopelessness into newfound hope, courage, and the ability to walk through the same fears we all have at one time or another. So that was my morning writing, which came from seeing that I was having some negative self-talk happening in the background of my mind. And the reason I wasn't really able to land on the pages of literature that I was reading is because I've been doing research into building an online business, because I've built a brick and mortar business and I'm pretty clear like I'm not interested in that right now at all. Having the local impact versus a global impact are two different worlds, and I really seem to be drawn to having a global impact, helping as many people as I possibly can. I did enjoy, giving back in the community that my business was based in on a local level. It was a lot of fun. I was able to help a ton of people, but I just felt like boxed in a way, and maybe that was because it was a literal brick and mortar business. I just felt boxed in by walls, and I felt like I wasn't living as big as I could live. I felt I was living a little too limited and my dreams were too small. And even though I fulfilled these goals that I set out to do, it wasn't necessarily the result that made me happy. It was what I was going through on my way to achieving these goals. But I just was like, damn, if I was able to achieve these goals, what's next? And I definitely want to keep going. Like, I want to keep building and keep growing and expanding. So the things I've been focusing on, which was why my mind was a little scattered, is I don't know what these things are. Like, this is all a bunch of stuff on the internet that I've never really looked into. So I'll just give you a little list and then tell you where my thoughts went after that. So there's a thing called affiliate marketing. There's things I wish I would have learned in regards to like Facebook advertising, building funnels. I'm interested in B2B sales. I'm interested in sales in general. I mean, I have a sales job right now. Drop shipping, e-commerce, podcasting, YouTubing, blogging, speaking, product creation, course creation. There's a lot of these ideas out there and ways to build online businesses, and I'm just kind of doing a little research and digging in and looking at how these things work and what they're all about. And am I drawn to them? Am I repelled by them? Is it something I'm actually interested in and curious about, that I see myself putting time, energy, effort, and money into learning and pursuing, or not? So then I made a little list of like, it looks like 1 to 4 here as far as like interest level and curiosity and how I see myself being in the world. And number 1 is I feel the most drawn to YouTube content creation. Number 2 is I'm drawn to podcasting because I love asking questions. I love coming from a place of curiosity, discovering the stories and the experiences that others have gone to get to where they're at. And I enjoy speaking and sharing on that level. And I would also one day love to create courses. The reason I haven't created any courses in the past is because I started losing interest in what I was doing. I've been in the health and fitness and wellness industry for 15 years, but it was never there. And I don't know if it was just because I was running a business and it was consuming so much of me that I didn't feel like I had the energy to build out online courses in regards to weight loss, in regards to getting in shape, building up your fitness, in regards to mobility training and strength training, unconventional methods of obtaining higher levels of fitness, using unconventional tools. Like, I studied that stuff for a very long time, and I just never got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to create online courses and products for people to improve their health and well-being. So I don't know if it was I just got burnt out. I mean, part of it is that, if I'm going to be completely honest, but also, I don't know, maybe had I not had a brick and mortar business and I started an online business from the very jump, that's what it would have turned into. But as far as I do know today, it just wasn't there for me to do. So I would like to build courses around the things that I'm pursuing now and starting from scratch. And how I'm beginning that is sharing what I'm going through currently, starting my life over. So, as far as YouTubing and podcasting, I mean, you do got to be able to take care of yourself. You do have to be able to make money, but I just don't find that doing it for only that reason is enough to hold me, because it's never been enough. Money has never been enough to draw me into just wanting to do something. It has to be more than that, but that has to be there because I have to be able to provide. So with YouTubing and podcasting, you can use affiliate programs in order to monetize and make money, to take care of what you're doing, to profit and scale, to have a greater impact. You can also tap into advertising. And then the other two positive things that I see from YouTubing and podcasting is collaborating, whether it's through making collaboration videos on YouTube or whether it's collaborating because you are hosting interviews. And then the other cool thing is, as far as connecting to other humans and being of maximum service, the reach and the impact is pretty high. It's incredible to me as far as YouTubing and podcasting because of technology. So right now I'm in document mode, and I'm going to be documenting the things that I'm currently drawn to that might change in the future. But right now I do want to build up my YouTube channel. I'm working on generating 90 videos of what it's like for me to start from scratch at 38, broken, in debt, and closing my business. And then documenting what it's like to build up a channel, and also starting a podcast if I wish to do so. That's number 2. So I'm still contemplating whether I'm going to do that or not, but it is something I'm looking into and researching. And it will be in regards to online business and making money online and entrepreneurship. And then also, documenting what it's like to create talks or webinars, these things that we can use to get in front of people to offer our services and build value. And then lastly, once again, documenting what it's like to create courses, because I know there are formulas and templates and approaches, processes that are out there. And I want to get insight and help from other people, but I also want to add my flavor and a way of approaching creating courses in there, because I do believe we are all a little bit different and unique, and we need to. And the video just ended, which means I got to get in there and start cooking some food, because we got to get to Two Dog Nursery after this. But anyway, so I'll wrap this video up. So I was just talking about course creation and, obviously doing things in our own unique ways. But how do I want to help people is another question that came up this morning while I was writing. Well, I want to help people grow spiritually. I want to help people change internally in terms of their thoughts and mind and emotions, conscious mind, subconscious mind. I want to help people build the character they see themselves being, and I want to help people make money online. I want to help people build online businesses and how to offer and sell their services online, and I also want to teach people how to profit and scale, but I want to help people do all these things rooted in a life of service and a life of giving back what they find and what they've done in their lives, and just really come from a place of giving. So I don't have any more time. I got to get into the kitchen and warm this food up. But that was what was going on this morning. And again, I'm just documenting, right? So I'm just sharing what's going on in my mind and the things that I'm interested in and pursuing, checking out, researching, and doing. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Again, as usual, if you have any feedback, you have any questions or any comments or things you would like to discuss, let me know in the comment section below. And I'm trying to figure out also, while I'm making these videos, which are for pretty much YouTube, how to make these videos also for Instagram, because right now shooting these videos horizontally, it doesn't always go that well in terms of putting them into Instagram stories or an Instagram post. There is a way to do it. Obviously, I've seen people have horizontal videos in there, so I'm going to look into that, so I can share this content on more than just one platform. I want to be able to not just use one piece of content one time. I want to use it as many times as I can over as many platforms as I can, because that's, I believe, stepping into the beginnings of having a greater impact. So that's all I got to say. That's all I got to share. We're at like 2 minutes and 23 seconds. So I wish you nothing but the best. God bless.